Welcome back to the series where I try to get every single mastery in Brawl Stars. Today we are on my 15th mastery. Yes, 15. If you haven't seen the rest of my journey to this point, go check out my other videos. The brawler that I'm mastering for this video is Otis. Now, Otis's mastery title is the Artist, and if you don't know by now, I also consider myself an artist. So for every gold rank, gold 1, gold 2, and gold 3, I'll be making a piece of art dedicated to Otis. And I'll be giving each of them away to one of you guys. Really? There's a lot that happens in this video, so let's just get straight into it. Starting at 900 trophies and silver 1, I'm playing with Ben, Tim, and Gurkaz on Brawl Ball Pinhole Hunt. This map is so good for Otis because a lot of people tend to play tanks here, and Otis counters tanks. I always start off on this map by using my gadget in either of these little entry points because it stops the enemy from moving up, giving your team position, or if they do want to step over my gadget, then they lose a lot of their HP. I should have brought vision gear here so I can see who's in the grass. If I knew where any of these brawlers were in the grass, I think I could kind of just run up to them and kill them pretty easily, especially if I had my super. I actually don't think any of us had vision gear on, which is kind of bad. Vision gear is game changing in grassy maps like this. It would have made these games so much easier. By the way, just look at this Oni Otis skin. I think it's one of the best skins in the game right now. Like, look at it compared to default Otis. It is such an upgrade. Since this map is so good for Otis and it's Mastery Madness, I played on it quite a bit. After Ben Tim left, I played with OG and a random. This spike was so good. He did his part. He killed his lane, kept positioning, he even took a little break, and then he trick shotted on them so casually. I couldn't ask for a better random. I just realized he tried to play again with us. I am so sorry, Spike. Anyways, Aquino joined our team. On Otis, I always take Ink Refill Star Power. It makes it a lot easier to hit shots and does way more damage. Without that Star Power, his shots look kind of pathetic. And the other Star Power, Stencil Glue, just sounds like Syl gives the enemy a big hug or something. By the time the enemy is muted, you probably get a kill on them anyways, so the amount of time they're muted doesn't make much of a difference in most cases. For the gadget, I take Fat Splatter, as you saw. Such a funny name. I've never even seen the other gadget, even though apparently I own it. For gears, I take Damage Gear and Gadget Charge, which gives you a 4th gadget. But of course, you want to take Vision or Speed Gear on grassy maps. Mastery Madness is literally carrying me right now because I got to Silver 2 and then Silver 3. And then I maxed out my mastery for the day. Oh, and somewhere along the way, I also hit rank 29. The next day, no more Mastery Madness and Penalty Kick was out. I despise this map so much. It's such a weird map. Throwers are really good here, but so are tanks that can just run you down. I'm playing with Tylo and Strads. The angles are really weird here for long-range brawlers, which makes Otis not good, but also good for the tanks. So again, I start with my gadget on this entry point. It also makes it easier to pinch them behind this wall. You can also use his gadget to finish off kills since its distance is a bit longer and faster than your normal attack. It's kind of the same way you would use Brock's gadget, Rocket Fuel, to also finish off a kill. I kept playing on this map with Counter and Swaggy. With Otis, I know it gets tempting to run up to people on auto-aim, but you really have to use your range. He has surprisingly good range. The only time it's worth it to run up to someone is if you know you will kill them, or if you have your super to mute them and then kill them before they kill you. One of the most satisfying things about playing Otis is when you mute someone and you can see them flashing their super trying to use it but they can't, and then you just kill them. We then switched to Flaring Phoenix Knockout. Counter and I were playing with different randoms since we couldn't find anyone to play with. We had a few really good plays. Even when we thought we let our random down, I don't know why, but I have this weird logic that every Edgar I encounter only has one brain cell. I don't know what it is. So when Counter and I both died here, I thought it was over, but this Edgar surprised me. He took his time, he was patient, he waited for the smoke to come in, waited for the Bonnie to come into vision and waste a shot before jumping in, and then he won us the round. I know it seems so simple, but I feel like most randoms don't understand these things, so Good for you, Edgar. Otis is good on this map specifically for aggressive brawlers like Bonnie, Daryl, Edgar, or Fang, so you really have to save your super for the perfect opportunities. Counter pulled a Daryl here and he should have waited until I had my mute. Luckily, I did end up getting my super, so I muted him before he could kill me too. And then it was just me and the Bonnie, and the one thing I don't want to do here is let the Bonnie regen her health. So I kept attacking her until we won that round too. This next round was more like 2v3 the entire time because this Colt didn't understand this game mode at all. Here, Counter and I are thinking, how the heck are we going to win this? Counter pulled the Sprout, but he barely got away. I used my gadget and it didn't quite hit the Sprout. We almost both died several times, and if either one of us died, it would be over. So we knew we had to play it safe. Jean's healing star power, Magic Puffs, is so helpful in situations like this because I can keep shooting and not have to worry about regenerating health too much because the star power helps with that. Counter actually got his super and pulled the Sprout again. I knew I had to move up more and I was able to kill him. I also got my mute and muted the Mandy right away. Counter was able to help me pinch and kill the Mandy. It was just the Gray left and the Gray did kill Counter, but I was able to kill him back because he had no more shots. And this is the game that led me to hitting Gold 1 on Otis, which means it's time to make my first piece of Otis art. I'm making this really cute Otis keychain. I have a ton of these keychains with other brawlers that I've made, but this one is probably one of my favorite ones. It looks so cute on my backpack. I made the keychain out of polymer clay, which you can bake and it hardens after you bake it. I made all these tiny little shapes, molded it together. I even made a little starfish for Syl. Then I painted it, which is the hardest part for me. I did his head and his hose thing separately. I don't really know what to call it. It's just like a water hose, but it shoots out ink. If anyone knows what that's called, let me know. Now I'm adding some details and sticking it all together. I add the keychain and the keyring part on with some good old pliers. This is how it looks when it's done. And like I said earlier, I am giving this away, so if you want a chance to win this, comment something nice and include the names of either your Instagram, Twitter, or Discord account. Now it's time to get to Gold 2. I'm playing Brawl Ball Sneaky Fields, another great map for Otis. You can honestly play Otis here on any lane. He has long enough range for the middle, but also most tanks tend to go lane, and since Otis counters tanks, it's perfect for him too. I went mid here because my teammates both have much shorter range than me. Starting off by using my gadget. Again, I should have brought vision gear here, but Rosa's unfriendly bushes gadget kind of works for vision as well because they take damage and get slowed, so it wasn't that big of a deal that I didn't bring vision gear. One thing that's actually crazy about Otis is that you can mute people while they're invincible coming out of spawn. I think it's one of the few abilities, if not the only ability, that actually works when they have the invincibility shield on. I'm not sure if it's a mistake or if it was always meant to be this way, but it catches the enemy off guard a lot. You already only have one shot as you come out of spawn and then you lose that too. It just seems kind of broken. A lot of the time I use Otis's gadget to do damage to the other side of the wall. It only works if the enemy is right up against the wall, but it's really good for finishing off kills or stopping the enemy from regenerating health because they don't expect it. This team was struggling a lot against us because they could not get out of spawn. Nita would keep cycling her bear, I would keep muting them, and the Rosa kept doing an insane amount of damage. We kept playing on this map until I got to rank 30. I didn't see a lot of double brawlers like I normally do for this mastery push, but I did see double Jackie. I feel like I've been seeing a lot more Jackies ever since the hypercharge update. The game is really unbalanced right now because of the hypercharges. Sometimes you'll be doing so well in a game and then all of a sudden the enemy brawler uses their hypercharge out of nowhere and they just run you down and there's nothing you can do. I've had so many games like that. We just have to be patient until all the hypercharges are out and hopefully the game will be balanced again. Lucky for us though, all three of us were tank counters and the enemy was all tanks. So of course we won. Now it's time for Siege. Siege is such a misunderstood game mode, which is why it was reworked so many times, taken out of the game, but by popular demand was brought back, and I'm so happy about that. For casuals and those that play with randoms, this game mode is all about control, and that is hard to do with randoms. But game modes like Siege are perfect for Otis because he is literally classified as a controller. You guys already know I'm using my gadget at the beginning where the bolt spawns. I'm also using my gadget here so it's easier for me to pinch the penny. If she goes to the left, she takes damage from my gadget, and if she goes to the right, she takes damage from my main attack. Guys, say hi to Era. She just joined me. There are some really fun things you can do in Siege with Otis, but I'll get to that later because I'm getting really close to Gold 2, and I'm going to be finishing off this rank in Super Beach Brawl Ball. I'm playing with OG and Zulan. I remember when Hank was so unplayable after they nerfed him, but ever since Supercell revisited Hank and buffed him a bit, he is so good. One reason I really love Otis, especially in the current state of the game, is that I find so much joy in muting someone right before or during the time they use their hypercharge. Like, imagine buying an expensive game-changing item, working hard all game to charge it, waiting to use it at the perfect opportunity just to be muted and it going to waste. It's so satisfying. Playing on this map got me to Gold 2, and look at that, I am so close to rank 31. But before we get there, it is time to make my second piece of Otis art. I am going to be making a beautiful Otis figurine. I'm using polymer clay for this art too. I'm doing most of it the same way as the keychain, but bigger, and I'm including the rest of his body. So it was a lot more work, but definitely worth it. I didn't even realize Otis carries around this satchel or fanny pack. I'm not sure what to call it, but I wonder what he keeps in it. I feel like it's too small for his spray cans. It could just be a purse, which I don't know what you need a purse for underwater, but it definitely suits his design, and the color matches the color of Syl, his starfish. I painted everything separately just so it's easier for me to get in all the details. Here I'm adding his singular eyeball and some other details. I wanted to make a stand for this figurine. I was inspired by this official art from Brawl Stars. It looks like he's in front of this wall of graffiti art that he did. I specifically like this part right here where it says Otis. So first, I created a gradient of blue, purple, and pink. Then I wrote Otis on top with a black color and painted it, and this is how it turned out. Here's the backdrop, and here is the figurine. I stuck them together, and here is the finished product. It looks so cute. You can put this on your desk or anywhere really. Again, if you want a chance to win this, just comment something nice and follow me on my social media. Now, let's finish this mastery and get to Gold 3. Starting off the last rank with Bot Drop Siege. You guys already know the drill. Gadget first. We all know it by now. I've said it a million times. If the enemy team gets a bot, you always want to save your mute for either the bot or the damage dealer on their team. For example, a bull is most likely going to do more damage to your save than the actual bot a lot of the time, so you want to use it on the bull when he's on your save, or I guess you would call it an Ike. We actually almost lost this game even though the enemy team did not get a single bot because I did not realize that there was a Grom on our Ike. He was chipping away at the Ike while we were lottie-dying, playing the game how it's intended to be played. If you didn't know, Grom can actually reach the enemy Ike by standing just outside of it. There are so many cheese strategies in Siege where you don't need a single bot to win the game. The downside to playing like this is that you give up full control of the bolts in the middle of the map to the other team, and if you don't play it perfectly, the other team will likely win because they'll have a fat juiced up bot incoming and you won't. So for the next game, Chaz got inspired and he took the Grom. He immediately just ran up the side and began shooting their safe and doing some crazy damage. It just makes it hard for me and our other teammate because we'll be doing a 2v3 for the bolts until one of them realizes what's going on with their Ike and go back to defend. We managed to get a level 1 bot and that was enough for us to win the game. Such a quick game. If we didn't get that bot though, it would be a very different story. This game wasn't like the other games we played because whenever we didn't win the 2v3 at the start, which is hard to do already, and they get the first bot, like in this game, we give up so much control and end up losing the game. Something fun you can do in Siege with Otis is actually mute the enemy Ike. It's really useful for big pushes or when you don't end up getting the last siege bot, so you have to rush the enemy Ike before their bot destroys your Ike. The rest of the push to goal 3 was very all over the place, lots of ups and downs, lots of tilting. I played some more Brawl Ball, some more Flaring Phoenix. I even played Club League with Otis. I completely forgot you can even get mastery points in Club League. It's like a little cheat because Club League is way too easy right now. Okay guys, as always, here I am, one more game away from mastering Otis, the artist title. I have with me Nerf and let's do this. I did bring Vision Gear with me for this map this time. I have learned my lesson. So hopefully it'll be a lot easier for my teammates and me. We're against Killer and Luffy. That's gonna be a little difficult, but I think they're with a random, so depends how good their random is. Okay, the pearl is super low. Okay, maybe they can score, honestly. Oh, there we go. Nice Nerf. They're kind of busy dealing with me. Oh my gosh, Vision Gear is so good. So glad I brought it. Nice. And okay, we just kind of ran over them. But let's go. I mastered Otis finally. Let's go. Gold 3 on Otis. We did it. The artist title. I will collect everything now. I love this Otis pin. It's so adorable. I also really like this player icon. It's so colorful and cute. And then the artist title. I think it represents me. It represents Otis. I love it so much. Let me put on the artist title. So perfect for me. But let's finish our last piece of art now. Okay, my last Otis art is going to be a painting. Again, inspired by this underwater graffiti art. Honestly, I'm not much of a painter, but I tried my best. At this point, I thought I messed up. This thing looks kind of ugly. I have no idea what I'm doing. I didn't even record the rest because I didn't even think I was gonna include it. I don't know if I'll give this one away because it might be a little too big, honestly. But yeah, here it is. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.